Anna Boyd adjusted the simple cardigan over her blouse as she stepped into the grand library of the Grant estate. The room was filled with polished mahogany shelves lined with leather-bound books and glittering crystal chandeliers that cast a warm glow over the gathered crowd. Men in tailored suits and women in elegant dresses sipped champagne, their low murmurs weaving through the air like silk threads. It wasn't her world, and she felt every inch the outsider. At 28, Anna worked quietly as a coordinator for a charitable foundation, her hands weathered from years of hard work rather than opulent luxury. Today, however, she was here because of an unexpected invitation to attend the reading of a will belonging to a man she knew well, a man who had been more than a benefactor. Across the room, Olivia Grant sat with an air of effortless confidence. The CEO's daughter, 32, impeccably dressed in the latest designer fashion, she radiated privilege. Olivia's deep chestnut hair shimmered under the chandelier's glow, and her sharp hazel eyes scanned the guests with a practiced disdain. Her lips curved into a slow, condescending smile when they settled on Anna. "Does she even belong here?" Olivia whispered to the woman beside her, her voice laced with mockery. Her words, though quiet, seemed to hang in the air, drawing looks from surrounding guests. Anna felt their weight, each glance like a sting. The tension was palpable as the family lawyer placed a thick envelope on the polished desk, ready to begin. Olivia's gaze never left Anna, her smile widening with quiet triumph. Anna felt a chill of discomfort settle in her bones but remained silent, clutching her purse tightly, bracing herself for what was to come. The moment the lawyer cleared his throat to begin the reading, Olivia Grant leaned subtly toward the woman seated beside her and, with a low but deliberate tone, said, "Can you believe this woman is even in the room? She looks like she wandered in off the street." Her eyes flicked pointedly toward Anna, who sat rigid in a wooden chair near the back, her fingers tightening around the straps of her modest handbag. A ripple of quiet laughter followed from a cluster of guests close to Olivia, the kind of laughter that wasn't quite loud enough to be polite, yet loud enough to draw attention. Anna forced her gaze downward, willing herself to stay calm despite the rising heat of humiliation. The scent of old leather and polished wood filled her nose as she tried to steady her breathing, but it was difficult, not with Olivia's comments echoing clearly in the room. The lawyer began, "We are gathered here today to honor the last wishes of Mr. Harold Grant," but Olivia's scorn was just getting warmed up. "Look at her," Olivia whispered more audibly now, allowing her voice to reach others nearby. "Does anyone here know who she really is? I doubt she's worthy of being anywhere near this family. Probably a gold digger." Her smirk grew, enjoying the attention she was commanding. Some guests glanced over at Anna, their expressions flickering between curiosity and judgment. An older man in a tailored gray suit shifted uncomfortably. A young woman with bright red hair covered her mouth to hide a smirk. Anna felt the weight of their gazes as though invisible hands pressed down on her spine, forcing her shoulders forward. Anna's face flushed a deep shade of pink, and she fought the impulse to retreat, to slip quietly out and vanish from this world of silk scarves and glistening glassware. But as she rose, the lawyer's voice cut through the murmurs. "Miss Boyd, please remain. It is important you stay for the entire reading." His tone was firm but kind, an unexpected lifeline in the sea of disdain. Olivia's eyes narrowed, a flicker of annoyance crossing her features. "Really?" she said, louder this time and clearly for everyone's benefit. "Why would she stay? What business does she have here?" Her voice rose enough to make heads turn, and the room's temperature seemed to drop several degrees as eyes fixed on Anna once again. The silence that followed was heavy. Anna pressed her lips into a thin line, denying the lump rising in her throat. She sank back into her chair, her hands trembling slightly as she clasped them together. Meanwhile, Olivia leaned back with an air of victorious disdain, as if holding the power to dictate Anna's fate in this room. "What are you doing here?" Olivia asked, loud enough now for a few to overhear. "You don't belong in this room with these people. You're not family or an invited guest." Her words stung more than any slap might have. Around them, the whispers grew louder, some nodding in agreement, others shooting uncomfortable glances. A man in his 50s cleared his throat, a distant relative, Anna guessed, his expression apologetic as he whispered, "Olivia, that's enough. This is hardly the time." But Olivia waved him off with a sharp flick of her manicured hand. "There's no need to protect her," Olivia said, eyes fixed on Anna like a predator sizing up a wounded animal. "Everyone here's wondering the same thing." She glanced around, drawing a few more stifled chuckles. Anna's heart hammered against her ribs, a fierce mix of embarrassment and growing frustration. She was neither a gold digger nor a pretender. But how could she make that clear when everyone had already decided their story? She had come here in good faith, expecting a solemn ceremony honoring a man she respected deeply. Instead, she found herself under the harsh glare of suspicion and mockery. Tears threatened at the corners of her eyes, but she blinked them back, unwilling to give Olivia the satisfaction of seeing her break. Instead, she kept her chin lifted, silently pleading for the reading to continue. The lawyer, sensing the escalating tension, tried to restore order. "If we could all please settle down, this will take only a few moments. Let us proceed with respect for Mr. Grant's memory." But Olivia wasn't finished. She stood abruptly, the fabric of her silk dress shifting smoothly with her motion. "I think everyone here deserves to know how this woman got an invitation. Is she really just someone who worked in the background? Or is there more we haven't been told?" Laughter rippled again, this time less polite and more pointed. One of the family members, a woman with silver-streaked hair, shook her head softly. "That's enough. Mr. Grant made his choices, however unexpected they are." But Olivia pressed on, stepping closer to Anna. "You could save us all some trouble and explain yourself right now. Or are you too afraid of the truth?" Anna stood, unexpectedly steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Her voice, low but clear, cut through the chatter. "Mr. Grant was my mentor. He trusted me." She took a slow breath, gathering strength. "I was invited here because he wanted me here." A hush fell, and for a moment, Olivia's smug expression faltered. But the crowd wasn't ready to let go so easily. Eyes still flicked between Anna and Olivia, the unspoken question hanging heavy: how could this outsider be so bold? Some moved closer, skeptical, others whispering doubts. Anna's fingers unclenched, and she lowered her gaze for just a second, her body aching under the strain. She saw a few faces soften with understanding, but the majority remained cold, eyes sharp with judgment. She felt the sharp sting of betrayal, not from any knife, but from the isolation in the room. It seemed that no matter what she said or did, Olivia's words had already hardened opinions. After a few more moments of silence, pressed by the lawyer's reminder, the reading continued. But the atmosphere was fractured, the grace and decorum replaced by tension slicing through the air like ice. By the time it ended, Anna was certain one thing: this wasn't over. Later, in the dimly lit hallway outside the library, Anna caught her breath. The polished floor reflected ornate ceilings and her own shaky reflection. The muffled sounds of the ongoing conversation drifted through heavy wooden doors behind her. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone and dialed her closest friend's number. A soft voice answered after a few rings. "I don't know, Claire," Anna whispered. "They think I'm an imposter. I've never felt so out of place." She paused, swallowed. "I'm not sure I can face them again." Her friend's voice was warm but firm. "Don't let Olivia win. You know your worth. You have to stand your ground." Before she could reply, footsteps approached. Anna glanced up to see the lawyer from inside the room, his face unreadable but not unkind. "Miss Boyd," he said gently, "it would be best if you returned. There is a matter to address with you, important, and I believe it will surprise many here." Anna's breath caught sharply, the weight of the room pressing down again. She looked toward the library doors, where all eyes had been focused her way before, and felt the unmistakable feeling of hundreds of gazes waiting, watching. Her friend's voice echoed in her mind, "Stand your ground." With a slow nod, she folded her phone and stepped back toward the room, every step heavy but purposeful. As she crossed the threshold, the murmurs hushed, all attention returning. The library was still, the air thick with anticipation. Anna settled into her chair once more, heart racing. Olivia's eyes met hers again, this time clouded with something unreadable. The moment stretched taut between them, and Anna felt the full weight of the silent question the room held: what would come next? With that, the will reading was about to take a turn none could predict, and everyone, even Anna herself, was waiting to see who would truly win this unexpected battle of respect and recognition. The library's heavy silence stretched taut as the lawyer cleared his throat, signaling that the will reading would continue. Anna sat straighter now, absorbing every glance, every breath held in anticipation. Olivia's sharp hazel eyes remained locked on Anna, less triumphant, more wary, as if sensing the tides were beginning to shift. "Before we proceed," the lawyer announced, "there is an addendum to Mr. Grant's will that requires immediate attention." He unfolded a sheet of immaculate parchment with precise hands. "I am to inform all present that Mr. Grant has left a significant inheritance and control of his philanthropic foundation to Miss Anna Boyd." The words hung in the air, heavier than any chandelier's crystal drop. There was a collective intake of breath from the room, a wave rippling down the sea of elegantly dressed guests. Anna blinked, a mix of surprise and disbelief washing over her. She had known Mr. Grant had respected her work with the foundation, but this news cut through every expectation the privileged crowd had cultivated. Her pulse thudded in her ears as she straightened her spine, a quiet anchor in the storm. Olivia's lips parted, a flicker of confusion warring with indignation. Her body stiffened, her previously confident posture now rigid and defensive. "This must be some mistake," she said, voice edged with disbelief. "Why would he choose her over his own family?" The lawyer spoke calmly, hands folded on the table. "This was Mr. Grant's express wish. Miss Boyd was integral to the foundation's success. He trusted her implicitly." Murmurs spread, ranging from shocked disbelief to grudging acknowledgement. Some guests exchanged uneasy glances, while others whispered excitedly about the implications. Anna's eyes searched the faces before her, some mocking, some stunned, others cautiously respectful. She fought to steady her breathing, willing herself to speak without trembling. Clearing her throat, she found her voice steady. "Mr. Grant trusted me not because of my background or appearance, but because I delivered on his vision. I worked alongside him to build programs that changed lives. I was honored to be his assistant and confidant." The room became quieter still, the atmosphere shifting from derision to something more complex. A flicker of admiration sparked in some eyes, particularly from a few middle-aged men and women who had witnessed Anna's dedication firsthand during the Foundation's recent charity events. Olivia's face contorted with disbelief. "You expect us to accept this? That you, someone who barely has a seat at this table, now hold the keys to his fortune? And this foundation?" Anna met her gaze, unflinching. "I don't expect acceptance. I only ask for respect toward the man's decision and the work we accomplished." For a moment, Olivia's usually unassailable arrogance faltered. The room's attention was fixed firmly on Anna, the woman she had so easily mocked just an hour before. A gentle chuckle rose from a cluster near the back, a wealthy matron who had earlier been skeptical. "It seems the old man knew better than most of us," she murmured, drawing smiles from others around her. Anna's cheeks flushed slightly at the support, but she remained composed, ready to face whatever came next. The lawyer then turned to read excerpts from letters and recordings Mr. Grant had left behind, messages explaining his choice. His voice sounded steady and firm as he described how Anna had been his trusted partner in every philanthropic endeavor for over 5 years, managing critical projects, negotiating sensitive partnerships, and ensuring funds reached those in need, often without public recognition. Those details painted a portrait of a woman whose humility masked a fierce intelligence and unwavering dedication. Guests shifted in their seats, some nodding slowly, others swallowing hard. Olivia's hawk-like eyes flickered with something between anger and a dawning respect, something Anna hadn't expected to see. A young man, apparently a distant relative, leaned over to Olivia and whispered, "Maybe there's more to her than we thought." Olivia gave a curt nod but said nothing aloud. Once the lawyer finished the formalities, the room filled with a murmur of mixed emotions: gossip, surprise, grudging admiration. Anna exhaled softly, relief mingling with exhaustion. She had weathered the storm of ridicule and emerged steady despite it all. Later, as the crowd began to disperse quietly, a soft applause rippled through the guests. It was tentative, cautious, but unmistakably real. Olivia approached Anna, her expression unreadable. "You certainly caught us off guard," she said, voice low. "I'd be lying if I said I expected you to hold your ground like that." Anna met her gaze evenly. "Nor did I expect you to try so hard to tear me down." For a moment, the two women stood facing one another, the tension high but tempered with a grudging mutual recognition. Olivia sighed. "Maybe I judged too quickly. But it's hard, growing up with certain expectations, watching family legacies get handed around." Anna nodded, understanding flickering behind her tired eyes. "It's hard to step outside those expectations and prove your worth on your own terms." They shared a brief, silent moment, two very different lives intersecting unexpectedly. When Olivia finally turned away, she spoke softly enough for Anna alone to hear, "We'll see how this all plays out." As the guests filed out, many looked back at Anna with thoughtful expressions, whispers shifting from mockery to admiration. In that moment, Anna realized something profound. She had not only claimed an inheritance but had also begun to claim the respect she'd long been denied. Stepping outside into the cool evening air, Anna took a deep breath. The world felt different now, sharper, more real, filled with new possibilities. She felt every bit the woman Mr. Grant had believed her to be. And for the first time, she allowed herself a small, genuine smile. As she walked away from the estate, the sunset spilling golden light over the grounds, Anna knew she had crossed a threshold. Beyond the garden walls and glittering chandeliers, a new chapter awaited, one of challenge, change, and unexpected triumph. The evening light poured warm and golden through the tall windows of the quiet room where Anna sat, thoughtful and reflective. The grand estate's walls, lined with history and paintings of stern-faced ancestors, seemed less intimidating now, softened by the knowledge of what she had earned and the path she'd chosen. The polished wooden floor bore the echoes of footsteps from earlier that day, the whispered judgments, the surprised gasps, the uncomfortable shifting of chairs. But Anna had transcended all that. Behind her calm exterior lay a life carved through determination, sacrifice, and unexpected opportunity. She was not the dilettante many had assumed, a simple assistant drifting into wealth by chance, but a woman forged by experience and quiet fortitude. Her story began years ago in the bustling streets of a city far removed from this genteel world. Born to modest means, Anna was raised by a single mother who worked tirelessly as a nurse. From early on, she learned that life's comfort was a luxury not always afforded, but that integrity and hard work shaped one's character far more than titles or silks. Her academic talents earned her a scholarship to study finance, a field that promised security but not fulfillment. Despite opportunities to climb the corporate ladder, Anna felt a restless pull towards something more meaningful. She left the world of numbers and trading floors when she realized her true ambition was to make tangible change, to help those overlooked by the gleaming towers of business. Working for various nonprofits, Anna traveled to remote villages, navigating tough conditions, language barriers, and scarce resources. She learned to negotiate with local leaders, to strategize with minimal funds, to inspire hope in the face of crushing despair. She returned time and again to communities where education and healthcare were privileges, not rights. Her work caught the attention of Harold Grant, a wealthy philanthropist who sought someone capable of managing his complex foundation. Unlike many in his circle, Harold was hands-on, his interest genuine and personal. He didn't want someone to merely maintain his empire but to understand its impact deeply. Anna's modest appearance, often worn from travel and practical considerations, broke the stereotype of the polished executive. When she arrived at the foundation's headquarters for her interview, she wore worn boots and a simple blouse, not business suits or glossy smiles. But Harold saw past the surface. He saw the dedication in her eyes and the intelligence behind her quiet manner. Over 5 years, their partnership flourished. Anna orchestrated initiatives that dramatically expanded the foundation's reach, building schools where children once had none, funding inventive medical programs, and lobbying for policy changes. Often working behind the scenes, she remained off the social radar. Many in the elite circles overlooked her, mistaking quiet professionalism for insignificance. Today, though, Anna's status changed irrevocably. The inheritance wasn't just about money. It was trust, respect, and validation from a man who had witnessed her integrity firsthand. After the will reading, Anna was asked why she showed up in such simple attire while others flaunted wealth. She had smiled softly and said, "My clothes carry stories of dusty roads, early mornings, and hard-won progress. They are a reflection of the work I have chosen." The estate's grandeur remained, but Anna's presence softened its edges, the whisper of humble footsteps amid marble and chandeliers. Later in the days that followed, as she settled into her role overseeing the foundation, Anna found herself turning down invitations to glittering soirees and exclusive galas. Instead, she devoted herself to meetings with ground-level staff, field workers, and beneficiaries. The foundation's heart beat in classrooms and clinics far removed from the estate's opulence. Her relationship with Olivia Grant remained complicated. Olivia, once cold and dismissive, was now quieter, less certain. The CEO's daughter had been rearing to claim a legacy she presumed hers by birthright, not merit. The shock of Anna's inheritance forced her into introspection, and though their encounters were professional and at times tense, mutual acknowledgement grew. They had a shared history with Harold, different paths converging at a painful crossroads of expectations and reality. Anna often pondered Olivia's struggles, the pressure to live up to her family's name, the suffocating shadow of her father's success. Privilege, she realized, wasn't always a blessing, it could be a cage. By contrast, Anna's journey felt like an opening, an arrival where her past hardships equipped her to face future challenges unflinchingly. One afternoon, as she walked the foundation's headquarters, she passed a wall adorned with portraits of past donors and patrons. The faces stared down, mostly men in suits, mostly families known for their wealth. Anna paused before a photograph of Harold Grant, his eyes collaring hers with a steady, warm insistence. A whisper of gratitude touched her heart. She now carried his legacy, not as an heiress blinded by fortune, but as its steward, responsible for ensuring every dollar reached those who needed it most. Understanding that stewardship meant more than finances, Anna planned ambitious expansions to the foundation's outreach, partnering with grassroots organizations, harnessing technology for educational access in remote areas, and fostering sustainable projects that empowered communities rather than creating dependence. She often remembered the evening spent poring over maps and budgets with Harold in his study, his voice steady when others wavered, his belief that true philanthropy was an act of partnership. Anna's footsteps echoed in the empty hallways, but her mind raced toward a brighter future. Her modest clothes no longer marked her as an outsider but as a symbol of authenticity in a world too often cloaked in pretense. Behind the scenes at the Foundation's offices, while Anna focused on mission and impact, whispers circulated about Olivia's declining influence in the family business. Board members noted her growing isolation and a dip in company morale. The CEO, her father, growing as perturbed by Olivia's reckless behavior as by times before, reportedly advised her to reconsider her approach. Though the tension between the two women remained, a certain mutual respect, fragile but genuine, began to form. Anna had no illusions about the challenges ahead. She knew some doors would remain closed, some allies hesitant to accept change imposed by an outsider. But she embraced these realities with a calm resolve. Her past had taught her resilience. Her present demanded courage. The foundation's future beckoned. In quiet moments, Anna reflected on the contrast between the life she'd chosen and the one she left behind. The polished world of estates and elites was seductive, yet she knew true value arose not from grandeur but from tangible impact. Her relationship with Olivia, complex and evolving, mirrored that truth, two women standing at crossroads shaped by fate, upbringing, and choices. Anna's story was still unfolding, but she understood one essential truth: character and compassion carve deeper legacies than titles or privilege ever could. As the sun set outside, bathing the city in hues of amber and rose, Anna Boyd felt a surge of hope and determination. With responsibilities heavy but heart steady, she embraced the future, ready to lead, to heal, and to transform. The chapter that had begun with whispered judgments and cold stares was now writing itself anew, vibrant with possibility and authenticity. In the grand estate, amid portraits and histories, Anna was no longer a shadow, she was a force, quietly shaping a legacy that mattered. Days turned into weeks as the fallout from the will reading rippled through the grand estate and business circles alike. Olivia Grant, once the confident heiress poised to inherit her father's empire, found herself navigating turbulent waters. The sharp edges of her privilege were dulling under the weight of consequence and reflection. Word had spread quickly about the will's unexpected beneficiary. Board members, investors, and family friends whispered in offices and exclusive clubs, questioning the wisdom of Mr. Grant's decision. Olivia, who had long been a fixture at such gatherings, now often faced thinly veiled skepticism when her name arose. The company's quarterly meeting, which should have marked her rise within the family enterprise, instead brought muted nods and subtle hints of disapproval. Her father, the formidable CEO Jonathan Grant, summoned her to his office one gray morning. The walls of his corner suite, lined with replicas of corporate accolades, gave an austere backdrop to the tense conversation that followed. "Olivia," he began, voice firm yet tinged with disappointment, "your behavior during the will reading was unacceptable. You embarrassed the family and yourself." Olivia swallowed hard, meeting his gaze. The usual confidence flickered and then dimmed. "You need to understand," Jonathan continued, "that respect isn't just about names or entitlement. It's earned, through grace, through patience, and through professionalism." Later that day, Olivia was informed that certain privileges would be withdrawn. Her role in key operations would be delayed pending reassessment of her conduct. Rumors swirled that the board considered bringing in outside advisors to temper internal conflicts and to stabilize the company's image. Despite the professional setback, Olivia's personal reckoning was perhaps more profound. The walls she had built to shield herself from vulnerability began to crumble. In quiet moments, she replayed her harsh words toward Anna and the subtle, cutting glances she had cast during the will reading. The realization dawned that beneath her entitlement and defenses lay fear of change, of losing certainty, of confronting the unknown. Against this backdrop, Olivia extended a reluctant olive branch. She reached out to Anna, first with a tentative email, then a face-to-face meeting. The encounter was cautious, two women who had begun as adversaries, now confronting shared histories and evolving futures. "I was wrong to judge you so quickly," Olivia said, voice soft but sincere. "I didn't understand your story, or the bond you shared with my father." Anna listened closely, her expression measured. "It's not about that anymore," she replied. "The past can't be undone. What matters is how we move forward." Offering a handshake, then a tentative smile, Olivia said, "I'd like to find a way to support your work, and maybe learn from you." In the weeks that followed, a subtle shift took root. Olivia began to involve herself in the philanthropic foundation, under Anna's leadership. Though the transition was met with some skepticism from foundation staff, Olivia's genuine efforts to contribute grew evident. She attended community events, participated in fundraising strategies, and lent her considerable network to broaden support. Meanwhile, Anna's stewardship continued to inspire. She used her inheritance not just as a financial windfall but as a mandate to modernize the foundation's operations, increase transparency, and deepen community engagement. With a down-to-earth style, she balanced business acumen with compassion, earning trust across social strata. One evening, at an informal gathering hosted by the foundation, Anna and Olivia stood side by side, observing the lively celebrations surrounding a new community project launch. The air was warm with laughter, stories, and the palpable energy of progress. Olivia leaned toward Anna quietly. "Thank you," she whispered, "for letting me be part of this." Anna's eyes sparkled with genuine warmth. "You've earned your place here." The journey had not been easy for either woman. There had been stumbles, misunderstandings, and moments of doubt. But in embracing change, humility, and collaboration, both had found something rare, a shared purpose that transcended past divisions. For Anna, the experience was a powerful vindication. She had faced mockery, suspicion, and exclusion, yet emerged not just with an inheritance but with hard-won respect and a platform to make a lasting difference. For Olivia, the humbling chapter had brought growth, perspective, and a chance to redefine her legacy on her own terms. Outside the estate, in the world at large, Anna's story resonated deeply. Many saw in her journey a reflection of their own struggles against expectations, prejudices, and self-doubt. Her emergence as a poised leader and changemaker was a testament to resilience, integrity, and the quiet strength of character. As the foundation's work flourished, so too did Anna's vision for a future where opportunity was grounded in merit and compassion, not birthright or circumstance. Before the curtain closed on this chapter, Anna took a moment to reach out directly to those who had witnessed her rise. Through social media, interviews, and community forums, she invited conversations about perseverance, respect, and the power of unexpected blessings. Her message was clear: sometimes, life's greatest gifts come when we least expect them. What matters most is how we respond, choosing dignity over despair, patience over pride, and action over fear. As the story of the timid woman once dismissed faded into memory, the image of Anna Boyd, the leader, advocate, and force for good, stood bright and enduring. And so, dear viewer, reflecting on Anna's journey, we ask, if you were in her shoes,